You won't believe what has happened. Angel Reese has come out and spoken against Chuck. That's right. One of the WNBA's brightest young stars, Angel Reese, didn't hold back after NBA Hall-of-Famer Charles Barkley publicly criticized her and others in the league for what he called petty behavior toward Caitlin Clark, and Barkley, being Barkley, didn't sugarcoat a thing. He came right out and said it. These players are jealous. He accused them of being more focused on trying to tear Clark down than lifting the league up. Welcome back to MJ Hoops, the basketball show which brings the latest on gossip from all across the WNBA. Now, for those who might be a little behind on the drama, here's a quick refresher. Caitlin Clark, former Iowa superstar and NCAA all-time leading scorer, recently made the leap to the WNBA, joining the Indiana Fever. Her arrival has sparked a media frenzy, sold-out arenas, and a massive spike in WNBA viewership. Clark isn't just playing basketball, she's moving the needle in ways the league hasn't seen before.
These ladies, and I'm a WNBA fan,
it's been a good season.
They cannot have fucked this Caitlin Clark thing up any worse if they tried. So it's just petty jealousy, and it's really unfortunate because, and the thing that's really bad right now, we're not even talking about basketball. That's the problem that I have with the whole thing. But we're not. What's bad, instead of talking about all the good things happening for the WNBA, we're talking about negativity. And all publicity, that used to be that old saying, all publicity is good publicity. No, it's not. Not when you're a niche sport trying to get the consumers to buy into your product. If you got people in a room,
yeah.
If you got a bunch of dudes in a room and says, let's fuck up the WNBA, we couldn't have came up a master plan what these women have done.
But with that spotlight comes controversy, and this time, the tension isn't coming from fans or commentators. It's from within the league itself. Let's get back to Barkley. On-air, Charles Barkley went on a bit of a rant about how some WNBA players are reacting to Clark's sudden fame. He called out the pettiness, saying that instead of celebrating what Clark is bringing to the table, some players are throwing shade, making snide comments, being overly aggressive on the court, and essentially trying to humble her in ways that go beyond the normal rookie treatment. In his words, players should be thanking her for the chartered flights, for the sold-out arenas, for the increase in jersey sales, and for the attention that's now on the WNBA like never before. And Angel Reese, she wasn't about to let that narrative fly without a response. She took to social media and posted a message that many saw as a direct clapback to Barkley. She said, and I quote, "And that's getting a win in a packed arena, not just cause of one player on our charter flight. It was a clear message. Reese was saying, hey, we're all part of this. The league isn't just being carried by one person. We've all worked hard. We've all helped build this moment." Now here's where it gets interesting. Reese deleted that post not long after she put it up. Whether that was strategic or emotional, we can only guess. But what it tells us is this. There's tension. Real tension. And Reese isn't the only one feeling it, because while Barkley sees Clark as a golden ticket, many in the league are cautious, maybe even frustrated. Think about it. There are players who've been grinding in the WNBA for years, putting in the work, pushing the league forward, getting almost no recognition compared to the overnight hype Clark has brought. To them, it's not jealousy, it's a matter of fairness, of recognition, of equity. They want the spotlight to shine across the whole league, not just on one face, no matter how talented she may be. Now, don't get it twisted. Reese never said Caitlin Clark doesn't deserve her moment. What she's saying, and what a lot of players are echoing, is that this moment in women's basketball isn't happening because of one person. It's happening because of everyone. The veterans, the rookies, the legends who came before. And yes, Caitlin Clark too. Meanwhile, Barkley hasn't backed down. He's doubled down. On multiple occasions, he's reminded people that this surge in popularity didn't just come out of nowhere. It came when Clark showed up. And he's urging WNBA players to look at the bigger picture, appreciate the momentum, embrace the growth, and stop trying to make it personal. Now, let's talk about Caitlin Clark herself. Because while all of this has been happening, people arguing over her fame, players taking jabs, legends defending her, she's been trying to stay above the noise. In a recent interview, she addressed the so-called rivalry between her and Angel Reese. She was honest. She said, "We're not best friends," but she also said there's respect there. She acknowledged that both of them are competitors, that they bring fire to the game, and that's what people should be talking about. Not the off-court drama, not the social media digs, just the basketball. And she's right, because when Clark and Reese step onto that court, it's electric. People tune in. The stats speak for themselves. Record-breaking ratings. Sold-out crowds. The rivalry, or let's call it competitive energy between these two, is giving the WNBA a much-needed jolt. And for the most part, that's a good thing. But the media, they've been stirring the pot. Big time. Every gesture, every stare down, every post-game quote, it all gets blown up into a headline. And that's part of the problem, because when every single thing becomes a narrative, it stops being about the sport and starts being about the sideshow. And Charles Barkley said it best, "You're letting stupidity get in the way of greatness." That spectacle is distracting from what should be a celebration of elite athletes performing at the highest level. Still, there's no denying it. This storyline has brought more attention to women's basketball than we've seen in a long, long time. Clark and Reese have become the face of a movement. Whether it's framed as rivalry, resistance, or just good old-fashioned competition, it's working. People are watching. People are talking. And that's something everyone in the league can benefit from, but we also need to talk about the double standards. A lot of fans and commentators have pointed out how differently Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese are treated in the media and by the public. When Clark trash talks or shows swagger, it's celebrated. It's called competitive fire. But when Reese does it, it's called classless. It's called disrespect. And let's be honest, those reactions have a racial component. Whether intentional or not, the way these women are framed says a lot about how bias still plays out in sports. Reese herself has talked about being labeled aggressive or arrogant when she's simply playing with the same passion and confidence as her white counterparts. This isn't just about basketball anymore. It's about representation. It's about narrative control. It's about fairness. And that's why Barkley's comments hit a nerve. Because while his core message, appreciate the growth and support each other, makes sense, the way it came across felt dismissive to some. It felt like he was telling players to be quiet and accept the spotlight falling on someone else. But for Reese and others, that spotlight has been too narrow for too long. And they're asking for something simple. Share the light. Recognize everyone who's building this league, not just the latest media darling. In the end, this moment is complicated, it's powerful, it's emotional, but it's also necessary. Women's basketball is growing, it's evolving, and as messy as this all may seem, it's a sign of progress. People care. The stakes are higher. The conversations are deeper. So where does this leave us? With an opportunity. An opportunity for unity, for nuance, for respect on all sides. Charles Barkley may have lit the match, but it's up to the league, the players, the media, and yes, the fans, to decide what kind of fire this becomes. Will it be one that burns bridges, or one that lights the path forward? We'll be watching closely. And as always, if you found this breakdown helpful, make sure to hit that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear what you think about Barkley's remarks. Angel Reese's response and Caitlin Clark's rise, and of course subscribe for more deep dives into the hottest stories in sports. This has been MJ Hoops. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.
There's no place in this league for that. I think the WNBA, our team and our organization has done a great job supporting me. I've had communication from everyone, from so many people across this league, and being able to support me and going through this whole process. Obviously, it could happen to me, it could happen to anyone, and I think they've done a great job supporting us in this.
How did it affect you Saturday, trying to do your job, trying to play, and having this going on simultaneously?
Yeah, obviously it's tough, but I think I have a great support system. I'm loved by so many people, and obviously in the moment it's hard to hear, but my support system is great. God has protected me in so many different ways. I've gone through so many different things, and in the past couple of years of my life, but I think just having this support and this love and being a part of an organization that really supports me and loves me is something that I couldn't imagine not being a part of.
What do you think the league's response, just coming out right away and getting that investigation going?
Yeah, obviously, like I said, they understand that this is the priority. Obviously, there's no place for this, and they preach. I think 2 days before they put out no hate, no speech. And obviously, the women in this league, they know that, and know there's no space for that. And I believe that every player in this league deserves to be treated with respect and want to come to work and just have fun and have a great environment to work at. So
this girl is incredible. What she did in college for women's basketball, what she's doing in the WNBA.
She turned the Fever were 1-8. They have a winning record now.
But the number of attention, eyeballs she's brought to college and the pros, and for these women to have this petty jealousness, you say to yourself, damn, what is going on here?
Before the 2023 season, the WNBA had grown by 40% viewership from 2022 to 2023. But with Caitlin Clark's arrival, it's grown by 400% viewership. What that means is if the WNBA were continue to grow at the rate it grew from 22 to 23, it would take until 2028 to do what Caitlin Clark did this year.
So it's really unfortunate, and it's just, and I like the way she's handling. She hasn't said anything because you got so many fools out here who got opinions, unfortunately, a negative opinion on television, on radio, and things like that. So I'm glad she's staying above the fray.